necessarily a bad thing. Perhaps, Margaret agreed, but it will also free them. Your father, your mother, they've been prisoners of this secret for their entire lives. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself again. Caroline was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Tell me again about the Jade Emperor, Mrs. Chen. Please, like you used to." And so, as night fell over New York City, Margaret Chen began to tell a story, not about emperors this time, but about truth and justice and the long arc of redemption that sometimes takes generations to complete. But this story, dear reader, was only beginning. For in the ashes of the Roosevelt fortune, something new was about to rise. Something that would change not just one family, but an entire city's understanding of wealth, power, and the true cost of keeping secrets. 1 year later, Roosevelt Tower had a new name, the Klein Chen Center for Historical Justice. Margaret Chen stood in what had once been Thomas Roosevelt II's study, now transformed into a memorial museum. Where the Monet had once concealed secrets, a wall of photographs told the stories of families whose assets had been stolen during World War II. At the center was a portrait of David Klein, his kind eyes seeming to watch over the space he'd never lived to see. "The first group of students arrives tomorrow," Caroline said, joining Margaret at the window. She'd traded her designer clothes for a simple business suit, her transformation as complete as the buildings. 20 high school seniors, all descendants of Holocaust survivors. They'll be the first recipients of the Klein Fellowship. Margaret nodded, watching the sunset paint Manhattan gold. David would have liked that. He always said education was the best revenge against hatred. The past year had transformed more than just the tower. Thomas Roosevelt II had accepted a plea deal, trading information about other families' hidden wartime assets for a reduced sentence. Beatrice had checked herself into rehabilitation, finally facing the demons she'd tried to drown for so long. And Caroline? She'd surprised everyone by refusing her trust fund, instead using her share of the remaining legal assets to establish the foundation that now occupied the tower's upper floors. "Have you heard from your father?" Margaret asked softly. Caroline's smile was sad but peaceful. "He wrote me from prison last week. He's different, calmer. He said something interesting, that he feels more